Well, let's tell you what this case is about. It's been 2 days since a horrendous case of gang rape has taken place in the outskirts of Mysuru. No one is arrested, no detentions made. Police is saying they are waiting to record the statement of the victim, who's still recuperating in the hospital. So at the moment, the latest information that is coming to us is that there is no CCTV footage as well that has been traced so far. In fact, there is no CCTV in that particular spot where the crime took place. The horror unfolded when the duo who were at the spot near Chamundi Hills were waylaid by a group of 4 to 5 men who asked them for money. When the duo resisted, the girl student was gang raped, her male friend assaulted. In fact, the accused apparently filmed the gang rape and pelted stones at her friend. As per sources, police are now trying to track down the mobile phones that were active in this area during the time of the crime by tracking data from the nearby mobile phone towers. Police teams who visited the crime spot are now scanning CCTV footage from the nearby exit and entry points. Cops are also waiting, like I said, for the survivor's condition to improve so that they can record her statement. Let's listen in to what Chief Minister of Maharashtra has to say on this.
This incident happened near Mysuru, the outskirts of Mysuru in a forest area. 2 children were manhandled and the boy was beaten badly, and reportedly the girl was gang raped and she is hospitalized. It's really totally unwanted, unfortunate incident.
Right.
My government has taken it very seriously and we are after them, and we're trying to hear from the victims also, and we are joining the dots. Very soon they'll be caught and they'll be booked to justice.
All right, we heard the Chief Minister of Karnataka there underlining the fact that there will be strict action taken. But before that, what the Home Minister said was absolutely shocking. Neha joining me from Mysuru with more inputs. So Neha, instead of taking responsibility for the safety and security of women in these areas, which are interestingly tourist destinations, it seems that the Home Minister, at least, being extremely defensive, and what he said, trying to blame the victims for why they went there. Is this a prohibited area?
Well, absolutely not, Afrida. You know what, of course, the government is trying to claim at this point is that this is a secluded area. But mind you, I'm going to show you around and you will be able to grasp for yourself. This road that you're seeing right now ahead of us is a roundabout that, goes for almost about 2 kilometers. And, where, of course, it actually bends towards the right. And this is, this entire area, the green patch that you can see is, at the foothills of the Chamundi Hills, which is one of the most popular tourist destinations of Karnataka. At the top of the hill, is a temple that's frequently visited by people, even on a daily basis. People from across the state actually come down, to this temple. And what you're actually seeing, Afrida, right now is that, these green patches are a very notorious area. In fact, locals over here have confirmed. The police too, of course, we were speaking to earlier a little while ago, did say that, this is an area that's infamous for extortion and for other activities to take place. Now, this is on the right of this road. Afrida, what's even more disturbing right now is, on the left, this is precisely the area, just about a few, probably about 100 meters from this exact area, from the spot that we're at, is where this girl was gang raped and her boy was, her, in fact, friend here, who was a boy with her, was in fact, beaten. In the far distance, Frida, just where you can see a few vehicles actually traveling, that is the main outer ring road, which is in fact, one of the arterial roads over here of Mysuru city. It's a road that sees heavy movement of vehicles on a daily basis. So to merely say that, this is a secluded area is not really correct, because on the right side, you have the Chamundi Hills, a very popular destination, and on the left side, you have the outer ring road. So this exact stretch that we're at, or, this very location is in fact, on both sides surrounded by busy spots. So having said that, what, of course, the police, on terms of the investigation right now, they have picked up quite a few bottles from here. A few alcohol bottles is what we're picking up. There are a few other materials also as evidence is what they have picked up from here. But The big question right now, Frida, in just about, a few hours from now, in probably about 3 hours, 4 hours from now, it's going to be more than 48 hours since this incident took place. There was no patrolling that happened around this stretch at night. There are no CCTV cameras, and understandably so, there are no cameras because, this is, of course, an area, and, for even the locals for years now have been saying that incidents like this are common in an area like this. There's not been any extra security that's been put up. If I can actually point out one thing to you, Frida, you can actually see, of course, the police over here who are at the spot right now. And, they're, of course, ensuring that no one really, comes down to the spot. What is surprising is this straight stretch that you can actually see ahead of us goes down into a roundabout for almost 2 kilometers. Nowhere on the stretch of 2 kilometers is there a CCTV camera. There are 4 other exit points through a vehicle, if you're on a vehicle to this exact place. None of these 4 points have a CCTV camera as well. About 2 kilometers from here is a village, which is in fact, known as the Lalitadri village. That's the name of this area. And there are only a few CCTV cameras even in that village, and these are private CCTV cameras of people who reside in homes. So essentially, what that means is the entire radius of this area for at least a good about 3 kilometers does not have any CCTV cameras. And right now, the police has a mammoth task ahead of them as they're trying to, sort of track down all of the mobile numbers from the mobile tower over here. And that is also going to be a difficult task for them now because, that side that you can actually see is the police layout itself where there are hundreds of people who reside.
Neha, then it becomes a question of whether something
now,
like this was just waiting to happen. You are saying that this is an area infested with petty criminals. The police obviously must be aware of it. If the local residents are saying that this is common, extortions happen here, couples frequent this area, but then of course there are miscreants who frequent this area as well. So that makes it a case of police not doing enough patrolling. Why is there no CCTV? Why is this area being left infested with criminals? That is one part of the story. And then of course this gruesome act of crime that took place in that spot where Neha is standing right now. Thank you so much for joining us with your inputs on this big story. My colleague Gauri Singh will now give us a blow-by-blow account of what happened. This is Thursday afternoon. All of this started, this entire incident actually started somewhere in the evening of Tuesday. Now, like Neha was saying, it's almost going to be 48 hours now since the crime took place. Over to Gauri for the sequence of events.
In fact, to tell our viewers, this particular case has actually shook the entire nation. How this horror unfolded, we are going to present a timeline in front of our viewers as to what exactly happened on August 24 when this crime actually took place. At 7 p.m. in the evening, the student with her friend took a bike ride to Chamundi Hills. Chamundi Hills, remember, is a very popular tourist spot near Mysuru. At around 7:30 p.m., half an hour later, students got off their bike and they entered the forest area. Now, this particular area that we are talking about, the Chamundi Hills, actually is surrounded by deep forests. Now, moving on, what happens next? At around 9 p.m., a gang of 4 to 5 drunk miscreants confronted the students who were just sitting there. Now, after that, miscreants asked for money. Students resisted this entire extortion bit. Now, between 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., student was gang raped. Miscreants actually filmed the entire crime, and that was the horrific part. In fact, that horror continued for almost 2 hours. Now, moving on, what happened after that? Student's friend who was accompanying her tried to intervene and help the girl, but he was also attacked by the same miscreants who were gang raping and filming the entire act. In fact, student's friend was beaten up and even was pelted with stones. Just imagine the kind of horror that actually took place there with these two young kids. In fact, if we move on and see what really happened after that, at around 12:30 a.m. post-midnight, student's friend actually regained consciousness. After that assault, he actually felt unconscious, and after that, at around 12:30, he regained it, and friend managed to rush the survivor. We are talking about the girl student, of course, here. She was rushed to the hospital because, of course, she was in a very bad state. At around 1:30 a.m., the duo was admitted in hospital. We are talking about the girl who was gang raped and assaulted, and her friend who was also assaulted, and both were admitted to the hospital. Now, moving on, at around 7 a.m. in the morning, the hospital staff inquired about the incident as to what really happened with these two young students. In fact, at around 8 a.m., police was informed about this incident, and male friend was asked to give his statement as to what really happened. So remember, we are seeing at a very massive time gap also here. This incident happened at around 9 to 11 p.m. in the night, but the police actually got to know about it in the morning. That is also one big loophole and one big question that police needs to answer. Back to you.
All right, so then we have to ask, why is police action so lethargic? Why is the state government being so defensive about it rather than taking responsibility for safety of women in these tourist spots? Why is a tourist area being left infested with criminals, as Gauri and before that Neha was explaining to us? Let me welcome MG Mahesh, spokesperson of BJP Karnataka, on the show. Welcome, Mr. Mahesh. And also Linda Adige will join us shortly, women rights activist. Let me first come to you, Mr. Mahesh, that, the question we are raising here is that clearly this is a crime committed with impunity and with such audacity that you can see the criminals, it seems, have disappeared into thin air. They are not traced as of now. The police is waiting to record the victim statement. Until such time, there seems to be no movement in nabbing the culprits. And far from taking responsibility, what is your Home Minister saying? He's dragging the Congress into it and asking, why did these students go there?
Good evening, madam. So as a Mysorean, it is a very black day of the Mysore history of Mysore. As a party, we are condemning this gruesome act of the rape. And I am expecting my Home Minister much more sensitive about this. And as a party, we urge the government to take as much as speedy inquiry and to book the culprits and hang them in publicly. The BJP never do the politics in this.
Don't say such things. What are we? Is this a Taliban government? What do you mean hang them publicly? What do you mean hang them publicly, Mr. Mahesh? Are you aware of what is the law of the land?
These gruesome acts
that is not the law here. We are a democratic country with a set of
according to the law,
rules.
only the
Yes, you can say they must be punished, but please don't make such irresponsible statements. There is a criminal justice system in place.
These things shall be never happened in the Mysore. This is the only my urge upon my concern to this. Okay?
I understand your concern, but be careful about the statements you're making as a member of the BJP, which is the ruling party.
According to the law, you book the culprits.
And I want you to tell me, why is your Home Minister making such statements about blaming the victim, questioning why did they go there? This is not a prohibited area. I checked with my reporter there.
This is not the time to speak in the lighter vein. We have to take it very seriously. I urge upon the government to take much seriously. This is not the time to introspect you or me or this is the time to act. We should act as much as early.
That is exactly what we are asking, but there is no sign of police getting its act together. It is waiting for the survivor to be able to record a statement. The survivor's friend has already recorded his statement. They were together in that spot. There seems to be no leads coming from the CCTV as of now. So we are questioning the competence of the BJP government in your state. What about the competence of your party and its government? Why is it not able to nab the culprits? Why is it not able to ensure safety of women in these tourist areas?
Madam, I am urged upon the government to put efficient officers. See, Mysore requires good officer. Mysore has the place of the tourist. Okay? The government will take the seriously to put the good officers, the efficient officer. In past 1 week, so many bad things it happens in Mysore. It will be never repeat again. I heard the Home Minister put a good officer, take inquiry very expeditiously, very speedily, and book that culprit.
Your Home Minister has already disappointed us by blaming the victim. He is asking, Why did they go there? It is a secluded area. What do you mean secluded area? Why should there be a tourist area, a part of this area in the outskirts of Mysuru, which is by all accounts frequented by tourists? Why should it be out of bounds for anybody? It is not a demarcated, prohibited area. Brinda Adige is also with us. Brinda, you know, it's a big relief to actually know that the survivor is alive. She's probably going to record her statement, but until such time, the probe is moving at a snail pace and much of the precious time is lost. And case after case, like I spoke to you earlier as well, women are found vulnerable and state seems to be conveniently shirking off its responsibility, saying why did the victims have to venture into that part of the territory?
Absolutely right. Imagine the Home Minister making such a retrograde, regressive statement. Why did you go over there? Instead of saying, why were my police not there? Why was patrolling not there? Why was CCTV camera not fixed over there? Karnataka is the recipient of Nirbhaya funds up to the tune of, I think, 500 crores. So what have you done about it? Why are you blaming women and saying, why did you go there? You are supposed to be the one to say that here we are looking at everything that is possible. It's going to be about 48 hours now, and you still haven't found these rapists and thieves. What is it that you're sending as a message? Impunity. There is no fear of law. And the BJP spokesperson is saying, I'm asking for a good police officer to be put over there. So every time you people make bad choices about officers, you will make this kind of an excuse. Every officer is expected to have been aptly trained, professionally trained, to be able to respond and address every such case that comes there. But before that, what were the prevention measures that you have put in place? Do not talk about officers and absolve yourself and your responsibility, and you are not being accountable to the citizens and especially not to the women. Tell your Home Minister to apologize and not to place the blame on that victim survivor.
Absolutely. And you made important points, Brinda, about preventive measures, which is also part of the mandate for the police. They are supposed to take preventive action. Mahesh ji, at this point, I want to ask you that is it possible the police was unaware that these kind of extortion activities goes around there, which the local residents are telling our reporters? This area was found and visuals are showing us it's strewn with alcohol bottles and condoms and all sorts of things, which means that people are using this secluded area for criminal activities. And here is an innocent couple who went there. Little did they know, perhaps, that they will be accosted in this manner with alcoholics. But these alcoholics and perverts are being allowed to thrive in this part of Mysuru, Mr. Mahesh?
No, that is not right, madam. I urge the government and the police commissioner of the Mysore, this is the responsibility of the police to ensure the security of the whole area. See, what are the necessity requirement is to be taken either in the way of the CCTV or other thing. We have to take it very seriously and very fastest method way. We have to install all the CCTVs and further such incident cannot be happened there, madam.
Yes, Brinda, you know, again, if you look at the timeline from 9 to 11 for 2 hours, these 22-year-old students were going through this horror. There was absolutely no one to come to their rescue. I mean, it's about 2 hours later that the man regained consciousness, somehow managed to get to the hospital.
No, the thing is that is most remote area, madam.
There is no
See, as a
governance in
Mysorean,
this
I know
country.
the geography of that area. As a Mysorean,
What do you mean remote area? Is it outside Karnataka? Is there a government in place? There are no district authorities? What is remote area? Is it not in the outskirts of Mysuru?
Nobody can go there in the time of 9:30, 9 o'clock. The whole temple time will be 8 p.m. The whole thing will be closed on 8 p.m. This is the remote area of that area. As it belongs to the Mysore, I know the place.
Is there any law, is there any rule that tells students that after 9 o'clock this part is out of bounds? Is there any rule that is enforced there? Because unless you have a rule like that, you can't blame anyone, a citizen of this country, for accessing any part of the territory.
Some of these sporadic incident happened earlier. The police has taken some measures. They have not allowed the students after 8 o'clock to the footplate of the whole Chamundi Hills. Now, after this corona, there might be some relaxation is the part. Yeah, I agree. Some lapses on the part of
But
the
let
police.
me tell you, Mr. Mahesh, students, youth in this country are adventurous. They like to scale new territory. They like to explore. You can't stop them from doing this. Brinda, what would you say? Because once again, the narrative is about why did they go there? It's a remote area. You can hear the BJP spokesperson also saying that.
The dense forest areas, the student has night, they're not necessary to go in the dark places in the night.
No, don't make this statement again and again. Why you're going to dark places?
That as
what
parents,
is the
as
PWD
teachers,
doing?
we
What is the
always
best
say.
part doing?
But
where are the lampposts? Why hasn't, and it is not far away from the ring road. Why wasn't
Yes.
police patrolling over there? At least once an hour a police should patrol. What is your Garuda doing? What is the force doing? Please take responsibility. Do not place this onus, this blame on the victim.
No, madam.
and
See,
the
I am not
survivor.
blaming
I
anyone.
want to
See,
ask,
I am not blaming
where are
anyone.
the police?
It is the responsibility of the society and the parents.
No.
One
Society is
should not
paying
see
our
you
taxes.
and my. I am not
Patrol over
expecting my children as
no,
to go
see,
to the
this
night
is what
for the
happens,
dark
Brinda. Like
places.
I was telling you earlier,
kind of a
somewhere or
state.
the other, the narrative is turned around the society to be blamed for this. Police will not do their bit.
See,
The
this
state
is
government
not
will
the
not
time
take
to you and me.
responsibility.
This is the time
These
when we
areas
have
are
to go
thriving with
together
criminals.
to fight against this.
Absolve yourself of your responsibility, which means you will not say, yes, there has been negligence on the part of the state
Absolutely.
agencies. We don't have CCTV cameras, we don't have lampposts, we have not been patrolling
Yes.
that place. That is a negligence. We are sorry, but we are putting everything
And
into
why
place.
are there no
today.
CCTV? Like Brinda pointed out, what is happening with the Nirbhaya fund? What is being done with it? That's another big question, but we'll have to leave it for another time. Thank you so much for joining us, Brinda Adige and MG Mahesh, for joining us on The Big Story.